me. But you know what? They're both for me.
You ever choke on your own saliva?
Isn't that terrible?
I just did that, yes.
Don't you feel like that should never happen?
Yeah.
Your body should know, and that should never happen.
Yeah, you just kind of think your IQ just suddenly somehow dropped and you choked on your own spit.
Isn't that terrible? It's like you became a Neanderthal.
Hey, good evening, everybody. I am Chuck Rogers, a licensed professional counselor and licensed marriage and family therapist.
And I'm Keith Dunn, and I am a network engineer.
And together we are Tabletop Coffee, just trying to do life, right?
Yeah, being bold and never, ever bitter.
And tonight we're going to talk about do not have trickle truth. Stay tuned. We'll show you what to do and what not to do.
I'm excited.
Stay tuned. So let's talk about trickle truth.
Trickle truth. I have no idea what trickle truth is, so tell me about it.
Well, when you need to talk to somebody, you need to be gut level honest and share all the information.
Okay.
Oftentimes I'll have people come into my office who have had some bad behavior, inappropriate behavior that hurts somebody else, oftentimes in marriage counseling.
Okay.
And the person who has been the quote-unquote offender will oftentimes not want to tell all the information, but instead will kind of just pitch out enough information to acknowledge some of the truth.
So instead of just ripping the Band-Aid off and doing it all at once, just do a little bit at a time.
Yeah. Let me give you an example.
Okay.
It can be lots of things, but oftentimes people come to me for marriage counseling, and it's common for somebody to have had an affair.
Okay.
When that happens, it's really good to go ahead and be totally forthright with regard to the extent. For instance, and men and women both, are engaged in inappropriate relationships. And in fact, Annette Lawson, a sociologist, talked about how it is that when women begin to enter the workforce in force, that women even edge out men just a little bit in the numbers of affairs. So it's not just a guy thing.
Right.
But let's pretend that a guy has an affair on his wife, and then maybe there are multiple affairs, or maybe there's affairs and pornography or other bad behaviors that she would possibly like to know about.
Okay.
But instead of telling all of the information, he drips this information out. So they work on their relationship and it improves, but then she somehow, some way finds out additional information. So when that happens, then what happens?
Yeah, you're wondering how far down the rabbit hole you're going to go on this.
Yeah, and so their repair has now gone back to where they were, or maybe even further, and lost more trust.
That's right.
And so if he dribbles out information over time, it's just this, reopening of the flesh, and more bleeding takes place.
Yeah.
So when that happens, I encourage the guy in this case to say, and I usually say, I beg you, if there's additional information, please go ahead and share it.
Yeah.
Because it will hurt her, but we'll work on it. We'll put her back together.
Okay.
But what is more difficult for her to deal with is this information, and then more information comes out, and more information. So just be forthright.
Yeah, so it's not good to do a trickle truth at all.
It's terrible to do a trickle truth.
Yeah, so in talking about ripping off the Band-Aid, it really is best to go ahead and rip that Band-Aid off and expose everything.
Yeah, be totally forthright about what's taking place so that true healing can take place and so that you can move on.
Okay, that's a good word.
Yeah, I hope that was helpful for you. If it was, please go ahead and subscribe. We would really appreciate that.
Yeah, and be sure and ding that bell so you're notified of upcoming episodes.
Make sure to like it.
Yep, share it with your friends.
Thanks, everyone.
Until next time.
We are on.
We are on.
Like Donkey Kong.
So you really don't think that anybody would ever wonder why we have two mice?
I don't think they care.
You don't think they care? They probably just think one for you and one for me.